After playing with the OB system for the past 2 weeks, I've begun to use two major tactics. The first one, it's the one that Carlos introduced himself, which is the trifecta indicator play. This involves waiting for confirmation from the three major indicators, being the arrow, the volume crossing this threshold, as well as having all of the OT line up as well. And this has proven to be an incredible technique. And whenever I do enter those positions, I would then place my take profits at major resistances and my stop loss at the swing low or the swing high, depending on if it is a long or a short. And yeah, the pro of this tactic is that there's a really high rate of success. Um, but the con that I've found with this is that it often takes longer for all three indicators to align, and you can sometimes miss the bulk of a move up or down while waiting for confirmation from all three indicators. The second tactic that I use, which I often use more frequently, involves entering a trade when the arrow begins to flash near a support or a resistance level. And like tactic one, I'll enter my take profit at major resistances, and I'll also enter in my stop loss below the swing low or the swing high if it's a short. And the pro of this is that the arrow flashes far more often than waiting for all three indicators to align together. But the only downside of this technique is that it is a higher risk than waiting for the trifecta of indicators, and you do need to manage your risk more tightly because the trade can turn against you much faster. Here's an example of how I would use the live stream and apply it to my own trading. So the first thing I would do is once these lines of support and resistance are automatically drawn at the beginning of the trading session at 9:30, I would then try to recreate these exact same lines on my NinjaTrader. And as you can see here on the NinjaTrader platform, I have recreated the support and resistance lines that were auto-generated from the OB live stream. And just these lines in and of themselves are super helpful for understanding the best entries and take profit areas. For example, for most of my take profits, I like to place them just below these major resistance lines. And what I try to look for is the confluence of the indicators, specifically the arrow, with these various support and resistance lines. And here's an example of me putting it all together. So earlier in this morning, once I saw this arrow, I waited for the trade to be around here. Once it's flipped this red line of support, resistance turns support. And once it made that flip, I then entered my position and I placed my first take profit at this resistance and my second take profit at this resistance. Obviously, in hindsight, this was a bit more conservative, but I'm happy with just taking profits and de-risking as soon as possible.